guys, I'm back to show you how to use proportions with word problems. So let's take a look at our first one. We need to remember that when you're finding a missing part in a word problem that involves proportions, you're going to have two ratios. You have to match up the like units. So it says that the ratio of 7th grade students to 8th grade students. So that's your first ratio. We have 7th graders to 8th graders. Is 17 to 23. So 17 is 7th grade, 23 is 8th grade. If there are 200 students in all, how many are in the 7th grade? So the question part tells us exactly the ratio that we're going to be looking for. So we need to know the 7th graders out of the entire population of 200. So that would be 7th graders to total students. So we would have, I don't know how many 7th graders out of a total of 200 students equals, now when we look at this, we have to be really careful on this one because it's not as cut and dry as we thought. Remember, this is 7th graders to 8th graders. So we can't use exactly this proportion. We can use the 17 because those are 7th graders and that's what we have in our numerator, but we don't have a total. So you need a total number of students for your first ratio. So to get a total, you're just going to add the 17 7th graders to the 23 8th graders. And you get 40 students because it has to be in the form of your first ratio. That's why it's real important to write those words first. Okay, so we have to use our previous knowledge from the other video. Cannot simplify this, but could we multiply 40 times something to get 200? Yes, you can. So 40 times 5 is 200. Do the same in the numerator. 17 times 5 is 85 students. Don't forget your label. And it's actually 85 7th graders. The labels are here. Alright, box your answer and we are good. Let's try the next one. Alright, so at Six Flags, 360 visitors rode Goliath in 3 hours. Find the number of visitors at this rate who ride Goliath in 7 hours. So if you look, we have visitors, hours, and hours. I always try to start with a question because that's how you need to write your ratio. We need to know the number of visitors in 7 hours. So that would be the labels that we need to write first. Visitors over hours. You could actually do hours over visitors. It really doesn't matter as long as you set up all of your ratios in that form. So, question says we don't know how many visitors for 7 hours. And now we need to come up here and see what it says. We have visitors, 360, and 3 hours. So hours go in the denominator. Alright. Well, we could simplify this ratio because 3 does not go evenly into that. Again, you could use cross products every time, but it might be simpler to simplify. That's a play on words, simpler to simplify. So 3 goes into 160 120 times. 3 goes into 3 once, and then we have v over 7. And then we can use equivalent fractions, and it works out very nicely. So we end up multiplying 120 times 7. 120 times 7 is 840. Now we got to put a label in there. We're looking for visitors, so it's 840 visitors. That's one way to solve it. I'm going to show you another since we just finished writing equations with a constant proportionality, because here we could find a unit rate. Because remember, the unit rate is also your constant of proportionality. So if we have 360 visitors in 3 hours, then we could find the number of visitors per hour, which is your unit rate. So visitors per hour. you do 360 divided by 3 is 120 over 1, which simplifies to 120 visitors per hour. Now, this is just like your constant of proportionality. Remember, you have to do y equals kx to write the equation, k being the constant of proportionality, which is your unit rate. They all go together. So, y will equal 120 times whatever x is. Okay? Well, y, which are your visitors, is 120 times the number of hours. How many hours? Well, we want to know for 7. And look at what you ended up doing here. It is the same operation as there. So you can still get 840 visitors. This is just another method. You don't have to do it this way, but you might want to familiarize yourself with it because some people find it easier. Okay. Alright, this one I want you to try by yourself, so pause the video. After you've given it a shot, take a look and see how you do. Miss Lippincott divided a bag of 20 chocolates, that's the whole bag, between 2 students. First student received 2 pieces of candy for every 3 pieces. So there's your ratio, 2 pieces for every 3. Student 1, student 2. How many candies did each student receive? So there's what we're looking for. How many candies did each student receive? So you need to write your ratio. Start your ratio with what is in the question. How many candies did each student receive? So we're talking about students and candy.